What is up? What is up, you guys? You know what time it is. It is the New School Canes. We're switching up sides here. So on my left side, we got Wholesome One, and on my right side, we got Paul from Miami Hurricane Stock. Be sure to check those guys' channels out. I have the link down below. Click it, subscribe. We got some great. I'm gonna start with the channel news. First of all, Wholesome's dancing here because he hit 1K subs. So huge congrats there. Awesome,
Hey.
awesome stuff going on. Y'all be sure to definitely check him out. Great channel, great content there. And then Paul. Now, I kind of hit it, but he hit a 1K a couple of weeks ago, or is it a month now? So he is growing there too. We're growing like crazy. It's been awesome, absolutely epic. We've had so much fun on these shows. My channel, I'll be honest, I've been very busy. I've not been uploading like I wish I could, but that's what happens
Oh,
sometimes.
here we go.
It happened. It
He
happened.
has 5,000 subscribers. He takes
Wait.
1 week off. Wrong, Willie.
Nah, man, nah. We got,
I'm messing.
I did hit 2K, which I didn't ever like celebrate that, and I didn't even notice. So, yay, 2K.
I didn't notice. Oh, my God. Modesty is dead. Good God Almighty.
It's not about the subs, man. Y'all know it. Y'all know it.
True.
It's
True.
motivating,
True.
but
It's
it
really
ain't
not.
about the subs. I mean, you do like video views though. I definitely check on those all the time.
Right. It's not really about the. It's not about the super chat. It's not about the money. It's
No,
about like
the
us
community.
having the guts to like put our face on camera and people showing that they appreciate what we say, our opinions by subscribing, by liking, by commenting. It means the world to us, man, that you guys invest your time by watching our channels over and over. I mean, I remember when I first got my 1,000 view video, it kind of solidified me and built that confidence, and that's something that all three of us have. But it means a lot when you guys continuously tune into our channels. You watch, you like, you sub, you comment. It means a lot to us, and we truly appreciate that.
Definitely, definitely. So I'm gonna try to keep more attention to the chat this stream. If y'all want to pull up on your phones, you definitely have it too. We're gonna work on that, tweaking it so we can see the chat all the time. But I'll let Wholesome had several topics he wanted to hit up on first. I will say, do y'all want to address the NFL draft first and then talk Canes and impressions then, or y'all want to flip it and switch it and do draft last?
I believe we should probably jump into the draft now.
All right.
So yeah, let's jump into the draft because there's a couple of things. I know the number one topic that everyone wants to talk about. We're gonna save that. Let some people get into the group chat. We'll let some people get into watching this, and we'll jump into the Gerald Willis issue. But we'll start with everybody else.
Definitely, definitely. All right. Well, then, in that case, throw your first question. And then Wholesome had some, or Paul, y'all take it away.
Okay. My first thing was talking about the draft. So let's get into that. Uh, it's we're excited and we're happy about our Miami Hurricanes going into the NFL draft. Let's get that out there. But I know for a fact that I'm not alone in the disappointment of having to wait until day three to see our Miami Hurricanes be drafted. Um, and that's no disrespect to our boys that the men that went out there and gave their all for the U. But at the end of the day, the reason why our players were dropping to day three is because the guys who have been overdrafted the last couple of drafts have not been living up to that U. I mean, let's be honest. Artie Burns hasn't been doing anything as a Steeler. It got to the point where he lost his job. David Njoku has probably been one of the only first rounders the last couple of years that's actually doing something. Eric Flowers is now, yeah, he's on his third team now. So that it carries weight, but it's not pulling the same weight that it used to with us
Mm-hmm.
putting guys into the NFL and they're actually doing something. The only other name I could think about is Denzel Perryman, but he has the injury bug.
And
Whenever he's healthy,
Duke Johnson has not been where he's got to be.
oh, okay. I thought you were saying that he is balling,
Oh
but
no,
you
no,
know,
no! It's
no
unfortunate.
disrespect to Duke. I
Yeah.
love Duke. Played against him in high school. Played against him in Pop Warner. But at the end of the day, the things that he was doing his first year or two with the Cleveland Browns was not getting the attention necessary. And they continuously draft running backs. So Cleveland doesn't even value Duke.
Mm-mm.
And they won't trade him away, which I don't understand that either. Hopefully he can go to a new team and show off. I would love to see him and Kenyon Drake with the hometown Miami Dolphins, or maybe even him going to the Philadelphia Eagles to where he can go and showcase his talent. But if we're being honest, none of the quote unquote new school Canes is doing anything in the NFL, and it has affected our players getting drafted now. There's no reason why Joe Jackson should be there in the 5th round.
Yeah.
You know,
The guys. Okay, fine. Make the argument that Miami doesn't have great talent, but when you compare it up to the guys at defensive end that were taken before Jackson, with their resumes and their stats that they put up, I don't understand it. Except for, as you explained it exactly, is the new school Canes have not been doing what they should have been doing, and there's no excuse for it.
And you know, it got to a point. I'm actually looking at on my slideshow on my computer right now what we used to be known as NFLU. It was getting to a point where you can go on Madden, you know, like Madden 09, Madden 10, and literally make a 53-man roster of all Miami Hurricanes on a franchise mode and win a Super Bowl with no problem. I try to do that every year, and it's getting to a point where I'm struggling being able to put people at certain positions. And, you know, I know Madden may not be the best reference for most people. They may think of me as saying, you know, oh, he's young, he's thinking about it as a video game aspect. But what I'm trying to get, the point that I'm trying to get across to everyone is we are no longer filtering in quality NFL players to the NFL. And they are not living up to the standard of Miami Hurricanes of old. And that 2001 team is starting to creep on further and further and further away. The only person that is still in the NFL from the 2001 National Championship team is Frank Gore. And if we're being honest, he's no longer a big-time relevant running back in the NFL. He might have 400 to 500 yards. He might give you like 8 or 9 touchdowns, which is still good. But as far as him being a top 10 running back, that is no longer a factor.
You're not picking him up in your fantasy league.
Exactly. I mean, if you do, he might be like, hey, my 2 starting running backs are hurt or they're sitting out this week. Let me pick up Frank Gore because
he's your handcuff.
Right. And you're not putting him at a flex. He'll be as a pure running back because he's just going to get a couple of rush touchdowns.
Right.
And that's no slight to him. But, you know, at one point, we were having guys go to the NFL who could have 10 to 12 NFL careers, backups at Miami, late round draft picks, and then when they finally got a chance to be a starter in the NFL, they were there for a decade and a half. That's not happening anymore. And it pains me to say it, but it's not happening. Go ahead, Paul.
One thing, and please, by all means, comment if I'm wrong on this. During Mark Richt's era and Al Golden, besides David Njoku, name me one other player on the offensive side of the football that is an NFL draft prospect that has contributed heavily in the NFL draft. Maybe Duke Johnson. Mark Walton messed up.
Yeah,
he's in the top
he's done.
Chicolo's one to keep in mind a couple of years
That's
back.
defense, though. That's defense.
On
Okay,
the
you're right,
offensive
you're right.
side of the
Offensive
ball,
side,
we haven't had really one playmaker. Allen Hurns maybe, but nothing
Dorsett,
significant.
I guess, but Dorsett and Barrios have been like not in the draft, like high.
Right.
Production wise on the field, they've been average,
Solid.
pretty good.
Solid.
Yeah, you
Well,
know.
offensively, in the draft, we haven't really had any top offensive picks consistently. We've had
Correct.
one or two randomly. You know, it's not. I think it's an issue with coaching. Mark Richt, really, did he recruit a good offensive player? Amon Richards had his tragic injury, but what else? Offensive line's been a total
We're tight end
miss.
you. Like we've got tight ends covered. We got a tight end, but that's
Right.
about it. I'm with you there.
Oh,
You're
Chris
right.
Herndon, by the way, we forgot to mention him.
Yeah, Chris Herndon definitely. Yeah, great,
Chris
great,
Herndon.
definitely. He's doing.
He
solid.
came out of nowhere. I mean, I wasn't expecting. I knew he was good, but I was like, oh, wow. You know, towards the end, he was grading out as like a top 5 tight end according to Pro Football Focus, which is not common for a 4th-round draft
I feel like Michael Irvin II might sneak up just like he did.
His dad's
You know,
name.
I would hope that, and I'm the only one out of us 3 that's still not impressed by Michael Irvin II.
Really?
Like,
Okay.
I mean, physically he looks nice, and maybe he gets like 18 catches this year. But you got Brevin Jordan and Will Mallory.
But it's Eno's offense. He's going to be using 2 tight end sets.
I just named 2 tight ends.
Right, I'm follow. But you have at least more chances there than prior to Richt.
True.
So, but I agree with you. He's not your number 1 guy, and probably not even your number 2 guy. And that's not even to mention the other talent that you have there, because there's some talented tight ends that aren't, solid names yet, but they have quite the athleticism that might, 3-star pickups, some walk-ons, but yeah, I'm with you there. I don't. Who was your biggest?
Who do you
surprise?
guys think?
Okay, go for it.
Go ahead.
You want me to go?
I was gonna ask, who do you guys think between Brevin Jordan and Will Mallory will have the better career as a Miami Hurricane and into the NFL draft?
So what you're cutting it off?
My God.
NFL draft day, you cut it off, or NFL career in mind also?
Who would have the best career as a Miami Hurricane and then get drafted?
Really high. Oh. I think, to me, it comes down to the question of who makes the wiser decision. And with that, I'm saying, when do they go to the draft? Who's going to have the patience of them to know how much of their body can take, and not go too early and not go too late and get another injury or something like that.
Right.
Because I still feel, and I've heard others have said, I'm not the original with this, Mallory's got a higher ceiling. Brevin, as of right now, is the better player. So,
right.
If Brevin has a really good year, he might just say, screw this, I'm going for the money, let's go. I hope not. I hope he makes the wise decision and goes until he knows he's definitely a day 1 draft pick, because he can be that. Mallory, as well, I just feel like Mallory's going to stay longer because he hasn't had as much production as Brevin did so far. But
Right.
If it comes to that, I feel like I'm hoping, let's say both of them make the wise decision and stay the right time that they should for themselves. I guess Mallory, because I think he has a higher ceiling. That's just my opinion.
I've actually had to answer this question a lot lately. Recency bias seems to be the issue right now, with everybody thinking that Will Mallory is just come to Jesus, I'm your savior guy. Last time I checked, the only tight end on our roster right now with proven all ACC and freshman All American honors is 6'1.5", 6'2" Brevin Jordan. Now, yes, upside is a thing. I get that. People continuously say upside. I get that. But there's production, there's potential, and there's upside. So right now, Brevin Jordan is in the production category. The other category of potential would have to be Will Mallory. And of course, he's 6'5", and he might clock like a 4.6, or maybe like a 4.5, 4.6, because he ran an 11 100-meter dash at 6'5", 220.
Freaking,
like, that's
Gosh.
amazing. But that's just potential, and I need to see some production. So I'm gonna hold off my comments on Will Mallory until. Let's see him do it during the season. Of course, the fade route against Savannah State. Oh, that's amazing, but that's Savannah State, guys. Let's be honest. This is kind of the same conversation we could have when we talk about Lorenzo Lingard and Cam Harris. Well, Cam Harris was a young man who actually got some carries last year and showed us he has breakaway speed and production. But everyone wants to keep talking about, Lorenzo Lingard this, Lorenzo Lingard that. He hasn't shown us anything yet.
I think
against quality ACC talent.
A factor, and someone's mentioned they just mentioned Martell there in the chat, and I thought about this. Whoever is going to be the starting quarterback is really going to decide a lot about these tight ends and their production.
Ooh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's true.
It'll be huge because There's chemistry, and they have their guys, and I think it's a big thing. I honestly don't know who Williams would go to at the tight end position.
Williams is Mallory.
You think Mallory?
Brevin Jordan, of course, his chemistry would take Martell.
Obviously.
But Brevin Jordan's, if we go quarterback to tight end connection, you would have to honestly say Perry, because Perry's go-to last year was either Mike Harley or Brevin Jordan.
Very much so, yeah.
And if it was Will Mallory's go-to this year, was actually Williams, because Williams was taking majority of the second and first team reps until the actual spring game. And then Michael Irvin II's connection is Willie with Tate Martell, because they were both on threes majority of the spring. Now, most people would argue, of course, Tate Martell and Brevin Jordan, because they played together in high school, but they really didn't play together in this offense because Brevin Jordan has been hurt or taking first team reps if he was ever out there. And Tate Martell rarely got any first team reps. But, of course, Brevin Jordan has been hurt this whole spring. And, we'll see where that kind of goes moving forward.
Paul, your thoughts?
Yeah, honestly, I thought Perry had a nice connection with Will Mallory during the spring game and throughout the spring. I'm not really too worried about who develops a connection at tight end. I think it's really like you're going to set up plays where the tight end's going to be open. I think you're going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets consistently, and all 3 of those guys are going to get so many opportunities to catch the ball, to get open, that it's really not going to matter. Dan Enos loves running 2 tight end sets, so you will see them constantly on the field. So a connection will be developed with either quarterback, with both tight ends. So I'm not worried about developing connection. Now, I think Harley, though, and Perry, that connection, I don't think Harley's going to see the field this season, maybe as a run blocker. I think KJ Osborne best connection through quarterback. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Are you talking about Mike Harley?
Mike Harley.
I personally see.
I'm gonna cut in here. I want to mention to the chat so don't feel left out. I am watching the chat, and I know these guys are as well. I see y'all there. I'm watching y'all comments, and we're gonna try to respond to them. So don't be left out. Sorry to cut you out there. I see y'all.
I personally think that Will Mallory. I'm getting a call there. Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I personally think that Mike Harley might be on like a transfer type of thing.
I don't think he should have been a Miami offer.
Whoa!
Oh my gosh!
Jesus! Really?
Yeah.
Explain.
Ooh. Yeah, I need to hear this.
First of all, he's skinny as hell. He's way too skinny.
He's a wide receiver.
Nah.
He's a wide receiver.
Hey, I want to see the Julio Jones. Who's the kid from the Frank Latson bodies? Who's the kid? The kid from that committed to Auburn or Georgia. What's his name? He was looking at Miami. 5-star kid out of Hoover, Alabama.
Yeah, I forgot his name as soon as he said he's not a Cane.
Look,
But yeah.
Mike Harley is. Look, he's physically not there. He committed to West Virginia, decommitted, then committed back to West Virginia and picked Miami. He played this little show. Look, he should have never been offered by Miami. He was a backup offer. I guarantee you, if he never went to St. Thomas Aquinas, he probably wouldn't have gotten a closer look than what we gave him.
Hold a second. You're about to erupt. You want to respond?
All right, Paul.
This is great.
Okay, first of all, Mike Harley is more than just a Miami offer guy. He's a quality wide receiver. And I honestly think he's an ACC wide receiver. Now, I have seen guys like Philip Dorsett come in at like 170 pounds, put on that muscle properly, and start to look like ACC caliber wide receivers later on in their career. So I get that point. That makes a lot of sense. Second of all, he basically was battling back and forth between West Virginia and Miami, and literally said, like when we played each other in the Russell Athletic Bowl, whoever wins gets my commit. That's who I'm signing with. And that might sound like some hoopla to most people, and I get that. I didn't really like the tweet when he said it, but I loved it when we won. I was like, all right, cool, a hometown guy. We got the W, and he comes here. Um, I think Mike Harley with the dropsies, and whenever he gets the chance to like really focus in, he made a lot of plays for us last year. Now, he's no Jeff Thomas, and that's the issue that I talk about constantly is we continuously were bringing in the same type of dang wide receivers. These short, quick, fast guys
Yeah.
who can't play
Yeah.
outside. They're only slots at any other program, and we were forcing them to be number one wide receivers, and they're 5'9", 160 pounds. It doesn't work like that. Now, you can't help as a 5'10", 5'11" defensive tackle, as I was in college, you can't help your size. So the only thing that you can help is your production, your hard work ethic. And, you know, if anybody ever has to question whether you work hard or not, that's bad. And that's one thing that Mike Harley has been called to question multiple years is does he care enough to work? And we went all spring without hearing about him. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're right. I
Yeah.
was shocked. Like, I forgot about him.
I personally thought he transferred. I have
Yeah, I
texted
got
multiple
confused
people
with-
like,
was it Wiggins or Ez? I keep forgetting. No, Ezer. Ezer's the one that transferred, right? I always confused.
It's Georgia Tech. He's not
now
bad.
that
Like, he almost was like kind of like him. Like, well, what happened? Like, he left. Wait, oh no, that was Ezer. That wasn't him.
I don't know. Like,
that to me, that lets me know how little someone thinks of you if they let you transfer within the conference. Like, that never happens. Not only within the conference,
yeah, that's
but
true.
within your division of the conference.
Okay, now
Like that.
and to Georgia Tech, the team
doesn't-
that I know they're changing their whole offense, but has no proven passing game. Oh,
Jeff
man.
Collins.
Well, or no proven passer quarterback. I don't correct
Right.
me if they pick up a new guy, but last time I checked, they picked up guys for triple ops offense before. So, yeah.
Which I don't get how any wide receiver would ever go there.
I don't
But
understand how a lot of players go there, but I will tell you, Georgia Tech is a very high academic standard school. So if they get a
Absolutely.
sports scholarship and they get their academics straight and get that paid because it's expensive as heck, I understand that. And it's a nice place. It's not like crazy.
Very
It ain't
nice.
Oklahoma or something, but it's
Yeah.
very nice. It's a nice thing, and
Stadium's
they have a
beautiful.
great academic program. So
I've
but
been
hey,
on their campus a
but
lot.
hey,
It's really nice, actually.
who is the great from Georgia Tech that became an NFL Hall of Famer? Gosh, I'm forgetting about him.
Calvin Johnson.
Calvin
will be.
Johnson. So it's not that you don't have potential to get somewhere, but
Right.
yeah, I'm with y'all there. But y'all, I'm excited about Peyton. Oh my gosh, Peyton.
Jeremiah Payton?
Jeremiah
Yes, sir.
Peyton.
Yes, sir. Oh my god, he's filling in that Harley spot. Is all I'm saying. Like we had Osborne, JT, and him. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And that's not even that's just the top of the crop. There's even more than that at wide receiver.
I got my money on Mark Pope, man.
Yeah, Pope.
That's the guy I'm putting my money behind.
I've been
A
saying
Dade
Pope,
County legend,
but
man. Noodles.
Yeah,
Noodles.
I'm with you, dude. I've been with you on Pope, but man, I feel like Jeremiah's had more news than Pope in the spring, but they have
True.
both been competing, like both really high up there for sure. Hightower just kind of he's been hills and valleys, man. He's hills and valleys.
People say he's an NFL receiver. That's what people say inside.
I mean,
the program about Hightower.
Did you not see what he did to Greedy Williams on that fade route? Like, he's a true freshman going against a guy we thought was a top 5 pick at corner and just mossed his ass. Like, that was bad. That was bad. I mean, it was good for us, but it made Greedy look pretty bad.
All right. We're 20 minutes into it. We have 33 people in the chat right now. Let's just get this draft assessment, comments, everything over with, and I'm talking about the Willis deal. What
Oh boy.
the hell? All right. So I know that Wholesome has got a tirade of comments. So I'm gonna let Paul take first point on this one.
Good choice. Good
And,
choice. Good choice. Because I'm ready to go off.
We'll
So
let
good choice.
Wholesome knock it down, and the chat is ready to hear it. I know they are. So I'll be watching y'all's comments, and I'll let them know because I don't know. I'm not sure if we all can see them, but yeah, Paul, thoughts on just the draft in general, and hit off on Willis.
What I think happened to Gerald Willis, and it has nothing to do with talent.
Say that again. Say that again, please, because a certain YouTuber said opposite. Please say that again. I want to hear that. Say that again.
No, it did not have to do with Gerald Willis's talent. The reason why he went undrafted.
Thank you.
This is what I believe what happened. NFL teams went to certain coaches from different programs that he played at. Those coaches spoke bad about him. I don't know if it was Florida, Miami, or if it was both of them, but there were coaches in his past that did not speak highly of him.
Mm-hmm.
He probably did very bad in meetings, in a job interview setting. He probably did not impress them. It probably rubbed them the wrong way. Guys, in their eyes, Gerald Willis is not a franchise player. He's not going to change your franchise. That's a guy like Patrick Mahomes who's going to change your franchise. The reason why they did not draft Gerald Willis was because of his characters, and nobody would want to vouch for the kid. And they probably, in their minds, think they can find another Gerald Willis next year, or in the next 10 years, they can find 10 of them, 10 Gerald Willises. That's the way they would see him.
Yeah, the chat, Junior and Big Dog saying, yeah, he was late for meeting and teams and stuff. Someone said that Hope isn't a starter. I'm going to ignore that one. Wow.
He's got to prove himself.
My thought on Willis, and I'm with you, Paul, 100% what you said, and I want to mention just to all in the audience, us as sports fans and Canes fans in particular, we are, we're huge fans of the players. We're like, yeah, bam, and we see that, we know, and we weren't, biased in what we saw with Willis. He was a first-draft talent. He is a first-draft talent. What we forget about the NFL is it's a business. It is a company, and when you want a job, you have an interview, and you need to be there for the meetings, you need to communicate, and your character is evaluated. I'm not saying that NFL players have high character. I'm saying that is what is evaluated before the NFL draft. And that was put into account with Willis, and some people badmouthed them, put him down. We all have a past. And but those guys did that. Willis didn't do him any help with the meetings that he missed. He said it was a family emergency, as what I've heard. Okay, what have you, whatever. Here's all I'll say is, even with that being a bad character, bad stories, whatever, this guy being in stats and production #1 gives you enough to take a risk on him in the 4th or 5th round. Come on. I don't care. In a business perspective, the upside on it potential versus the risk is out there. Just ridiculous. So I'm still shocked. But I will mention, some people aren't thinking about this, him not being drafted with his contract, it allows it to be renewed sooner possibly, which means if he has a very productive couple of years, he can renew that new contract sooner and get more money and get paid. I also feel like how his dad they talked to his dad and him, he didn't seem like insanely mad or disappointed like he was done wrong. I'm not saying that he wasn't, but it seemed like he just kind of felt like not shocked, like he felt more determined and passionate and fired up to go out there and prove them wrong. But I guess he kind of figured with the interview that he missed that maybe this would happen. I'm not sure. I'm still shocked. I'm shocked that he's not going off and saying, y'all did me wrong. But I'm excited. I'm excited, y'all, and I'm saying this is not the end for Willis. This just helped him. This just helped him. But now, y'all get to hear wholesome tirade and proof to every one of these GMs and hard-headed head coaches what they missed out on. Your floor is yours, Olsen.
All right. So, Gerald Willis, this young man has so much production. And I even did a video that's almost at 3K views explaining how an attack 3 technique in the NFL is so important. I have never called them Aaron Donald. I've never called them Ndamukong Suh. I've never called them, any other plug-in defensive tackle, Fletcher, Cox, things of that nature. But Gerald Willis's production at the University of Miami was definitely draftable, definitely day 2 worthy draftable. Now, nothing of his film says anything about him being undrafted. There's people out there that literally have the opinion that this man was either making plays or getting driven off the ball and getting pancaked. Don't just take what some other YouTuber or some crazy person who has NFL analyst in their bio as fact. There's no reason why Mel Kiper called him a top 50 pick and then he sucks. There's no reason that someone gets second team All American and you think he's undraftable. Reason why somebody gets second team all conference, which arguably should have been first team all conference, because he had more production than both the defensive tackles at Clemson put together. If you look up their stats and then come back and holler at me if you want to.
Thank you.
And he got second team all ACC because Miami went 7-6. Paul talks about this all the time. If you want our guys to go to the NFL, if you want our guys to get all ACC recognition, we have to win. Literally, Paul talks about this all the single time. Like, you have to win.
Counter opinion, counter thought. This is an interesting one. Georgia and their production level on the win-loss basis, the guys that they pick up in the recruiting rankings, and then their draft stock. Wow. What an awful trade-off. I don't know if y'all saw the stats, but they had number 1 athletes in the nation go 5th round and below. Like, they did not help these guys. I mean, one guy that I remember, Isaac Nauta, one of the top tight ends, and he had an average, decent production. And Georgia, like, hate him or love him, they've gone 10 wins seasons average. Nauta went, I think, late 7th round, or was a free agent that was drafted. I was shocked, but, like, Holyfield, I believe he went undrafted, the running back from Georgia. They're a winning team. They're a winning team. But Kirby Smart did not improve their draft stock versus their talent when they came into the program. But the team won. So your thoughts on that? I thought that was very interesting. I'm kind of surprised. I'm honestly kind of surprised.
Well, I wasn't done with my Gerald Willis response.
All right, come on.
I wasn't done.
Come on.
I wasn't done. Okay. There's no reason in the world why Gerald Willis should have been undrafted. Period. His on-field production against SEC, literally 11-win SEC team, LSU, albeit it was just the first half. And the second half, his stamina kind of took over, and nobody else was making any plays. So they eventually just started double and triple teaming him, so he didn't win. Granted, Boston College's film, him against a first-round guard, was horrible. But if you think about it, the team had already given up. The whole team, everyone's bad film was Boston College. When I did my breakdowns of each and every draft prospect, everyone on defense, all 5 of them, had horrible Boston College games. Because by that point, we realized there was nothing that Mark Richt was going to do to put our team in position to win. So let's just get that understood. Anybody who thinks Gerald Willis isn't a draftable player, I'm not calling you stupid. I'm not calling you idiotic. But I'm just letting you know you have no understanding of football. If you want to fight, I live in Fargo, North Dakota. Come on. Now, his off-the-field issues, I get it. His off-the-field issues are a big, big problem when it came to him. Some people were talking about his attitude. Some people were talking about the fact that he missed meetings and things of that nature. Yes, but even attitude problem players go at least 5th through 7th round.
Amen. Yeah.
So there has to be something that's going on behind closed doors. And Cam Underwood talked about this yesterday, was that the 2 people he got into a fight with at the University of Florida was Jack Del Rio's son and Fred Taylor's son. Those are the 2 people he had a physical fight with. And they have connections in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So the issues of his past came back to bite him now.
There you go.
And there's nothing that you can do about that. But guess what? He's a Baltimore Raven now, and that's my favorite team. So give it a couple months. I'm going to get that jersey, and I'm going to flex it on New School. I'm talking about. We're going to flex the jersey. But I'm excited about it because, A, he was able to pick where he wants to go. And now the financial side of things. So his contract isn't front-loaded. It's production-based. And I believe a guy like Gerald Willis, when you try him, when you put that and say, hey, go out there and prove it, he's going to show up more than you just giving it to him. because he was such a highly ranked player at Florida. And I think that's what the issue was with him was, okay, everything was kind of given to him, and he wasn't fighting back to get back on top and get that W. Now, when he came to the U, nothing was given to him. He had to prove it. And he went out there and showed why he's one of the best defensive tackles in the country. So, you feel me? That's the Gerald Willis issue. Paul, you can kickstart it with the rest of the draft guys, and I'll just go off of you.
I'm gonna interject on the chat. I want to address the chat and then hit it off to Paul. Chantel says or Dennis Wilson says, so we're saying GF character played the part. Yes, Dennis, character played the part, but I think it's his past character, not his current character. Yeah, Chantel, he ain't punctual. Let's just say that. It may have, the meetings thing, and hopefully he shows up to the games on time. Oh, buddy, he's gonna ball out. Don't worry. And I think this will set him up in a good spot. But y'all keep it coming in the chat. I'm gonna be watching it, and I'm gonna try to interject y'all. But there's a lot of people talking, a lot of stuff going on. But y'all keep them flying in the chat. We're watching it. Paul, your thoughts on, I guess, the rest of the draft, or if you want to finish up anything on Gerald Willis.
No, I got nothing else on Gerald Willis. I really do think the Dallas Cowboys got 2 steals in Joe Jackson and Michael Jackson.
Absolutely.
I had a question for you. I actually had a question for you guys. From all the undrafted guys who signed as free agents, who do you guys think will make?
Did you hear that, Wholesome? He froze.
Team or have the most?
All right, I'm gonna finish that one. All right, it cut you off a bit, Paul. You got low connection.
That was a tough one.
So you're saying?
Who do you got? Yeah.
Yeah, Paul, you went out, so we couldn't hear you. You went out for a couple of seconds.
Who do you guys think from all the undrafted free agents would have the best NFL career?
Well, technically Willis is undrafted, so but that's a given.
Right.
But we'll go besides him.
I'm gonna go Tyler Gauthier. I think that centers with the New England Patriots, because of how cerebral Tom Brady is, he just needs somebody to man that offensive line. Now, Tyler Gauthier wasn't the greatest center that Miami has had, and I get that. Some people think that he wasn't even good at all. But I think he'll do well. I think he'll make a roster. It may not be with New England, but I know how important center is, being a former center in high school. And Tyler Gauthier's IQ is really high. And he's kind of an aggressive player. From the film that I've seen, I knew he was going to go undrafted. I never thought a team would take a chance on him because all he can play, because I think he's like 6'2" or whatever. The only thing he can play is center. But he was a 2 or 3 year starter for the University of Miami at center, and we haven't had somebody keep that job at center since Casey McDermott. No, what's Casey's brother? 2013. 62. Shane McDermott. There we go. Shane was the only one who I saw kind of hold down that job from 2012
through 2014. Yes, the chat got my guy. The chat got my guy. Junior and the Big Dog got my guy. I think he's silent, but he might. My guy, I'm sorry. Did you finish? I didn't want to interrupt you. I just saw in the chat, Wholesome.
Yes, I'm finished.
All right. I feel like a quiet one is Treyon Gray at fullback position.
Oh, my God.
I feel like, he reminds you of a faster Edwards Jr., the Big Dog. I feel like he wasn't able to showcase his abilities as much as he could have at the fullback position. And I think him in the NFL, he might have a potential on a team to possibly get out there and make some noise. I think it'll take him a couple years to get there, but he might just surprise people at their position. That's just my thoughts there.
Yeah, maybe like a Tito Odenigbo as well. Watch out for Javonte Dean as well, I think. Maybe. But these are all high maybes. Man.
Dean?
Yeah, I think so. You guys I knew that was coming from Wholesome. I don't know. You guys shot with the Dolphins, local kid, so he's got nothing to lose. He's playing at home still, so I don't know.
I think that's the first issue with all of our Miami players if they ever get drafted by the Dolphins, you can kind of just write them off.
Hmm.
Excluding Olivier Vernon and Lamar Miller, because
Oh man.
those were two late round draft picks who I honestly did not. And if I'm being honest, I did not see Lamar Miller having this long of an NFL career.
Brandon took Dean Trash. Come on, man. And he got cut already. Brandon says. Okay, well.
Javonte Dean got cut already.
Delaney got scooped.
Woo!
Panthers, I think. We'll see. I will tell you, I was pleasantly surprised with the guys that some people said might go undrafted, but they did get picked up. Homer. Some people weren't sure of it wasn't Sheldrick. I think people were more uncertain of the guys that the Cowboys picked up, but I was really happy to see them go. I'm glad. And like, if you had told me that Willis and all the rest would get drafted, and Willis not, I'd been like, yeah, whatever. But it did happen. So
Right.
it's not a bad thing. They weren't super high up, but I was pleasantly surprised. I will tell y'all, because there wasn't anyone other than Willis, most definitely, that didn't go drafted, and I was like very upset about, because there have been years when I was kind of like, really, like, it's unfortunate.
I will say this much. In regards to our players going to the draft, I'm far from a Cowboys fan, but definitely I'm rooting for them to ball, because we need our players to start making plays again in the NFL, so that these NFL organizations can trust coming to the University of Miami and picking up game-changing, organization-changing players. I was watching on Twitter. There was a guy who did the news or whatever. There was an interview of a guy who was on the news that came from the NFL Pro Day, and he was saying that he was talking to a couple of scouts, and they were saying that all of the NFL players all the Miami Hurricanes players going to the NFL draft were good, solid players, but there was no game changers on the field at that time. And I think us as Miami Hurricanes fans have to start looking at things differently when it comes to nationwide. Like, personally, if Jaquan Johnson leaves in 2017, he's no question a day 2 pick, because the production he had in 2017 was crazy. But if we're being honest, as a totality, our DB core was better in 2018. But the only person who kept their production going from 2017 through 2018 was Sheldrick Redwine.
Mm-hmm.
He made plays both years.
That's true.
And that's why he was the one who was drafted first out of all the other DBs. And that's just my opinion. Maybe Sheldrick Redwine was put in better position. But excluding the Florida State film, Jaquan Johnson's best film was maybe
Florida State.
Virginia
he had
Tech.
I was gonna say the VT big hit, senior day against Pittsburgh when he had that beautiful strip. But I mean, we shouldn't only be able to talk about 4 plays.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like how you said that. And Pringles guy said an interesting debate. Joe Jackson should have stayed. Pringles guy said that.
Oh, that's no question.
I'm with
Yeah.
you.
Oh, of course. Paul was pissed off that he left. I was mad too. But I mean,
All right.
according to what we heard, Joe Jackson, the only reason why he left is because he was promised a top 50 pick. So
That's fair.
that's why he left.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
And looking back now, I mean, duh. Like, if he had known that would have been his draft pick, now I don't think he would have gone. So, like, when he announced it, was I mad and sad? Yes. But I was like, all right, that's his choice, and
Right.
that's his business decision. He'll probably go decently much higher than he did, actually. But he didn't, and that's why now, like, it infuriates me a lot more. But I'm excited because at defensive end, oh my gosh, we have so many guys. Now, unproven, but so much fun. So
Good
much fun.
response.
But honestly, not
No
even
proven.
unproven. Because you take in the transfer portal Hill and Garvin, boom, you got 2 proven defensive ends. So,
Whoa. Flag on the play.
all
Time out. I love Jonathan Garvin. But Jonathan Garvin has yet to be the guy at defensive end for the University of Miami.
Agreed.
He's always had somebody opposite of him to do the job. Let me take you back to 2017 when Chad Thomas and you had Joe Jackson. So Chad was the guy who had some production from 2016 coming back to 2017, and Joe Jackson was the new starter. So you had 1A and 1B. Now goes out Chad Thomas, ends John Garvin. So you have Joe Jackson and John Garvin, 1A, 1B. One had some production as our third down pass rusher, who now becomes our starter. We don't have that now moving into 2019 because Joe Jackson, now that he moves on, the number one guy becomes John Garvin. Who's that B guy that was our third down pass rusher, had some experience now becoming a starter? Of course, we talk about Javon Hill. I get that, but we won't have completely sure if he's going to be a Miami Hurricane until he graduates from Virginia Tech within the next 2 weeks and now. That's when we find out if he's really going to be able to come in and contribute this upcoming fall. Right. So I get how everybody's in love with John Garvin. I get that. But we're going to need somebody opposite of him to show up and some interior pass rush so that he can get one-on-ones. Because Joe Jackson's best film is the last 3 games of the season. Why? Because he was getting one-on-one. Gerald Willis was getting double-teamed, and John Garvin was getting help from the tight end on the opposite side. So then you tune in Florida State game. You tune in Pittsburgh game.
Up with Rousseau all over. Y'all are right, but we're talking about proven. Rousseau has to prove it. But, oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Holson, you don't like Rousseau?
I'm in love with Rousseau. I can't wait to see him on the field.
Okay. I was going to be
I cannot wait to see him on the football field. I am not hating on him regardless. But what I'm saying is the last 3 seasons or so, I want you guys to really sit and think about what I'm saying in the chat. We always had one defensive end who would come in as just a third down pass rusher, and then the next year they would become a starter. Like I said, 2016, you had Joe Jackson, who was just a third down pass rusher. And then he became a starter in 2017. In 2017, you had John Garvin, who was just a third down pass rusher, and then he became a starter in 2018. We do not have that third down pass rusher who just gets in as a rotational guy, ready to become a starter yet. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
A-B-Mo said an interesting one. Let's see what Harvey has to offer. I don't know if y'all would disagree with that. I think Harvey's a third down set guy right now.
Yeah, true. He was my favorite recruit coming out, so I'm pretty high on Harvey also. Paul, and I'm pretty high on Rousseau, but it's a whole bunch of production. But go ahead.
Paul, you go ahead. Wholesome loves talking. I want to hear your thoughts, Paul.
Oh, wow.
Hey, wait, we all love talking.
And I think that one thing about this defensive line is that you have a lot of players like Pat Bethel, Scott Patchin, who have been in the program for quite a while. It's their senior year, and they've been through a good amount of game experience. And it seems like, from what the coaches are saying, in spring they're ready to play. I've heard Scott Patchin has been overshadowed by, Gregory Rosu's spring. Scott Patchin will be a huge contributor, and you're going to rely on Patrick Bethel. Watch out for Jabari Harvey to make a lot of noise. I think Jonathan Garvin, this is the year where he becomes kind of the leader of the defensive line. And, guys, I can't express this enough. Trayvon Hill is going to have a monster season.
I'm very
it's going to be scary.
I'm very curious because it's quiet, but he might surprise, although he wasn't here for spring, is Chigozie and what he has to offer at defensive tackle. I'm very curious because...
Yeah, we'll see.
Not saying that he's going to blow us up and just go crazy, but we can't forget about that name because he's coming in later. I'm curious. I am, because him being a transfer, he's got a different sense of urgency, playing 1-4-3. Now, I can't remember which one of y'all threw this one up. I don't know if it was Wholesome or Paul. Y'all had an interesting thing that in the chat that y'all threw to me. Most excited position group coach and I guess player was one of them both. I guess defense and offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, that was me. All
right. Well, let's hit them off. And Paul, I'll start off with you. We'll go back through Paul, me, and then Wholesome, and go back around it the same way with the next questions.
Most excited position group has to start with Dan Enos, quarterback play.
Okay. Yeah.
He's it's no doubt something needs to change in that room and the culture at Miami. We need to start developing
OC. Yes, sir.
NFL draft quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to how our quarterbacks will play this season. I'm more than confident Dan Enos will be the right man for this job, and our offense will excel. But that's who I'm most excited for on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, I'm looking at defensive coordinator Blake Baker.
Yes,
now
sir.
I know Coach Diaz he's going to oversee still the monster he created at the defense, and I know that I'm more than confident Coach Baker will get the job done. But I'm still interested to see how this defense will fare from years past under Manny Diaz. So it'll be interesting and a little bit nervous, too, for the first week. New defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator, new head coach. First week against University of Florida, prime time, first game of college football. We'll see what happens. The odds usually aren't on our favor with the new system. It's going to be quite interesting, that game, August 24th.
Definitely. And what I want to add to that, and I kind of for my answer for sure, offensive side, we've OC's we all were begging for an OC, whether Rick was leaving us or not. So definitely most excited about that one. But on top of that, Butch Berry, is he going to get that offensive line straight? Is he going to get it straight is what I want to watch out for. I like the hire. And I've heard really great things about Butch Berry as a positional coach off offensive line, so I'm very excited about seeing that one. Defensive side, I'm with you. If I had to choose one, I was thinking about it when I threw it up. Definitely defensive coach Blake Baker, because, he's got the same mindset as Diaz. You hope he's got the same, if not better, production. But on top of that, he's got so many players to have some fun with. Are you kidding me? And I know, year after year, we're like, we lost these guys. But, man, we're getting other guys brought in. Bubba Bolden coming in, how he's going to use the defensive line. We can't cover all the Hill picking up that we mentioned, the guys that have been injured and picking up, and then Silvera getting that starting role. I'm very fascinated to see how he leads that defensive group, along with something interesting, which is kind of the build on your OC part. The offense that they go against in practice is a little bit more tricky than the one they saw the year before. So Baker's got to get that defense straight and, preparing. They're having hopefully better competition in spring practice this past season and fall practice coming up with their difficult offensive scheme. So I hope that will help our production as a defensive team. I'm excited for that for sure. But, gosh, y'all, let's not forget. Now, everyone has questions about the secondary. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to leave that. That's a different question. That's a different conversation. Wholesome, you throw it off. Wholesome, you answer those two topics there.
I guess you guys kind of took the easier responses. I believe that when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, I entrust Manny Diaz. The reason why he brought these guys in is because they had some type of connection, whether here at the University of Miami with defensive backs coaches Banda and Mike Run, linebackers and defensive coordinator with him at Texas A&M, at Texas and at La Tech with Coach Blake Baker, and this defensive line coach. I always forget his name. It's a new guy, because he has so much talent. He just has to be able to tell him, hey, get off the line of scrimmage and blow this guy in the backfield, because you got such great talent down there.
Sir. We got Alonzo in the chat, man. What's up, Alonzo? I was great to see that here.
I think the one coach besides Coach Butch Berry, who I have to question, will have to be the wide receivers coach, Stupperfield.
Yeah.
It should not have come to the point where Coach Enos had to take over a practice.
I was wondering if
wide receiver coach.
Thank you. I was wondering if I was the only one that saw that. Yes, thank you.
He shouldn't have to take over as wide receivers coach to get things done at that position.
You're right.
Of course, that's also something I always give the credit where credit is due. Me and Paul talked about this over 2 months ago. Like, hey, this guy was a good player, but is he a good coach? Well, with what's the wide receivers coach name? The assistant.
Cooney.
Cooney, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Cooney was able to be the one that the players can relate to, and then Stupperfield is the one who's like the professional teaching them hey, this is how we do things. This is how you're supposed to do it, and they work together to have the best outcome. Well, it seems as though that outcome isn't working right now, and we've even still had the dropsies at our wide receiver position, and that is not necessarily on a coach. It's on a player's focus. Are they
Hmm.
overthinking? Do they want to just get the ball and run upfield so they're forgetting how to do certain to have the ball secured before you move up the football field? And it happens all the time. Like anybody who's in the chat now, anybody who's listening, if you ever played 7-on-7 ball before, you just gone out throwing the ball, you turn your head around before you secure the ball, it goes out of your hands sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now the thing that you have to do that is it goes back to being on a coach is teaching the young men that you have to secure the ball first.
I focus.
I would take you pressing the A or X button to do a secure catch on Madden and make sure you have the ball, as opposed to you pressing square B and you doing a rat catch and you drop the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Just get the ball in your hand, look it all the way into your hands,
Yep.
and then turn up the football
Their
field
heads is
and go
what
up
you
the field.
watch where their heads are. Every time we had a drop, you just look at where their head was positioned already. After that, they finished that catch, and it's not where it's got to be. And I'm like,
Exactly.
playing as a wide receiver, and I wasn't so great at high school or something. But my coach, he said, I ran in the senior year. He was like, dude, you have great hands and eyes, but you got to use them. You got to use them. Don't freaking turn around. And that's what you got to do. And that's what a coach has got to get on these guys. And I'm with you. Knowing or playing very well, you got to teach. It's different.
Absolutely.
And it's definitely
And
it's a great question on.
the second coach, I'm not necessarily saying it's an issue because I think he's been doing a great job. But can Coach David Feely, the strength and conditioning coach, I want to see you see the production he was able to do in 3.5 months with these players. I cannot wait to see how our players look in August.
Freaking gonna have Dwayne Rock Johnson's on the whole squad. Like freaking
Well, he's on HGH, so we don't want guys to get kicked out for HGH. This isn't Clemson.
We'll take Clemson's tips on that one.
Yeah, we're not gonna give steroids to our defensive tackles. Hey, it is what it is with that situation. But I love to see the production that he has already done. But no matter how much we talk about it now, being on the coaches, if we're being honest, and I talk about this on my channel a lot, the reason why the U was the U was because of the players putting that type of work ethic in and having a promise between one another that it would never be up to a coach. It would never be up to a fan base filling a stadium. It would never be up to coaches on either side of the ball, anybody's position coach, whether they gave good effort, whether they came to camp looking in shape, or whether they made plays. It was between the 110 men that's on the roster, whether it be a walk-on all the way up to an All-American. It was a mindset that you had to be the best every single day.
And I love that, and I want to build off of that in this thought. Diaz has positioned these players. It's for y'all to lead, but he positioned them in places where he gives them the opportunity from that. I didn't feel like Rick did. He kept saying that he needs that, and he never got it. And I'm glad that Diaz is saying that's what it's got to be, because he's a Miami guy. He knows, and I love seeing them excited. And the other thing I want to build on that and say, people are like, okay, we have like cornerbacks, unproven, maybe proven, and KJ Sales might come on in. How is Diaz going to bring or convince or even argue his point to KJ Sales to come in when you have Bandy already there and Ivy are looking good, Al Blazer Jr. are going good. We got amazing pickups stolen from Alabama and Christian coming in at cornerback. Now, KJ Sales got experience and all that. How does he bring him in and not get any of the other players disgruntled and all that? Because Diaz is pushing the mindset, not just cornerback position. I'm saying everywhere else is competition. I don't care if we have an amazing quarterback. I don't care. I want to have more amazing quarterbacks behind him to compete versus him. I don't care if our wide receiver group is stacked. I don't care if our defensive line or off. I don't care, Diaz says. I want insane competition. And that's what he's doing with his recruiting team and staff. He said, okay, yeah, stars are great and all that, great athleticism and all that. We're not focusing on that. I don't care. I want you to love football and compete, because not only is that going to give you a good mindset in a locker room, that's going to make all the players better. All of the players better. And I'm excited. More than anything about Diaz is that mentality that he brought to the program reciprocate to the field, to the scoreboard. I cannot stinking wait. Paul, your thoughts?
Paul, yeah, I was gonna say, Paul, how do you feel? I feel like you haven't had a chance to talk for a while. Go ahead, boss.
If you're scared of competition, don't come to the University of Miami. Don't come to Alabama.
Period. That's what I'm talking about.
Preach it.
Go to West Virginia. If you're scared of competition, go to West Virginia or Marshall. Sir. They love recruiting South Florida kids. Go play there. Okay? But we're going to hit the transfer portal. Yes, we're going to bring in guys like KJ Sales.
Yes, sir.
Look, we only have 3 people we can play in a game right now without being worried.
Maybe 2.
Cornerback. Maybe KJ Sales.
And if you listen to Paul, not even Bandy qualifies. But we'll continue. Sorry, Paul. Continue.
Nah, you're good. Wait, I didn't even hear him. What did he say?
He said maybe. He said that according to you, Bandy isn't playable. So you know.
I wouldn't say playable. I just don't like a number 1 cornerback being 5'9". And I showed you that Georgia Tech highlight. You guys, I did show it to you. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right.
But go ahead. Sorry about that. That was actually really funny. I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm just saying. Imagine going up against Alabama and your number 1 corner is 5'9". It's like, I'm just being real. I'd just rather have Patrick Surtain or Tyson Campbell. But,
I mean, who wouldn't?
I mean, we could have had him. Yeah. But, no. KJ Sales is needed depth. He already has experience in the ACC. I don't see why he's not a take. You can't count on to Corey Couch or Christian Williams coming in week 1 and making an impact. Maybe week 7, but you just can't count on them. So, yeah, I don't see why it's not a take.
I mean, I'm with you there. That was the thing. I was like, initially, when I saw the news, I was like, we're going for KJ Sales. And we picked up Williams, which I was like, if there's a guy that can possibly start, this kid just looked amazing. But then after spring, I was like, man, Ivy's putting in work. Hey, Al Blades has got a chip on his shoulder, and he's trying his best. And then I'm like, why are we going after KJ Sales? I'm like, it's Manny Diaz. Duh. He says it ain't enough. He says we need to have competition on every single level. And if he's talked about it before, the focus of transfer portal it wasn't so much of like, oh my gosh, we need this. He said we didn't have experience. We didn't have senior guys that know how to work at the college level. So regardless of pick up KJ Sales or not, that's the goal there, I think, is definitely building up that work ethic, that competitive nature. And I was like, oh, okay, wow. I'm surprised that's how he's able to bring that dynamic there. And that's what you want. Like Nick Saban, when he recruits, which Wholesome loves, he doesn't call him up and say, hey, I'm going to get you a starter. Or, man, your athleticism is so amazing. Wouldn't you love that on the Alabama gear? He says, yeah, we're competing for national titles every year. If you're the best as your stars and as your athleticism and high school tape says you are, come over here and prove it. And get drafted round 1.
Just want to say something real quick. There's people on the chat saying Martell ran away from competition at Ohio State. Coach Day did not want him. He did not want him. It's simple. That's why Ohio State, when it was with the NCAA, Miami and Ohio State, they did not intervene and say a word on the whole Martell situation. Okay? Justin Fields was their guy from day 1. Matthew Baldwin transferred out. Martell said, see you later. There's a reason. Coach Day wanted Fields, and that's it. That's his guy. He did not run away. Coach Day sat him down and said, we don't have room for you here.
Preach.
I guess the best way you could kind of show that is, although I hope, I'm not saying that Tate Martell's average. He's got to prove it. But Josh Rosen and what happened in the NFL of them picking up his own guy. Cliff Kingsbury said, I don't want Rosen, and went out and got his guy Murray, which Paul was kept saying about.
Right.
I see that. That makes a lot of more sense because honestly, I said it and I have videos of it. I said, I don't want Tate before he put the yawn. I said he's running from competition, and my boy Fields, I seen him play. He good, but Zoe says he ran.
He didn't look good in the spring game. He didn't look good at all.
But who? Fields?
Fields didn't look good at all.
In the spring? I'm talking about his high school tape back when he was in
high school. Everyone looks good in high school.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just local talent is all he reps for me. But I'm with you there. But I don't know. Tate, whether he ran or not, he's not the guy. He is a Miami Hurricane right now. The U on the side of his helmet. I will be pulling for him 100%. But here's my thing, Zoe. Here's my thing that kind of I felt with you. I felt with you before he put the U on his side of his helmet. If he ran, of all the places he ran to, why the U? Because if he's running from competition, is not what he's facing right now competition? Is that, like, did he not expect to face competition from Perry or Williams?
So
like,
I can jump in.
Go give that, because that's my thought. Like, that's the question mark. If he ran, why Miami?
I think the reason why was besides the fact his hey, also one dude, you go first. I got hey, you go ahead. I need a break.
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah, you go first.
All right, okay.
I need a break.
First of all, let's give our due respect to Lonzo. Thank you for coming to the chat, man. I appreciate it. I know everybody here appreciates it. You come bring some validity to it. You know, we appreciate that, man. At the end of the day, competition is what makes players great. And Tate Martell, yes, I can agree with the fact that people think that he ran from that such thing. He ran from the competition at Ohio State, which when we looked at it, yes, it was 100% true, because at that point we had three quarterbacks there who was all 4 or 5 star guys, and Tate Martell at that point was the only one to transfer out. So it looked as if he ran from competition. Later on down the line, things came out that the new coach, Ryan Day, he was all in on Fields. And once they got Fields to transfer in, in which he was immediately eligible, it came out that even the backup quarterback behind him also was the one to transfer out. So everyone understood that Ryan Day wanted Fields, and Fields was a guy who was going to be the starter no matter what.
Hey, I'm going to interject with Zoe's comment. He's throwing in the chat. He says, fans did not like Perry. Dan Enos recruited Tate Martell, so I don't think he thought it would be easier for him.
But to be fair, everyone recruited Martell.
You're right.
To be fair. In a sense, everyone got to send out something to Tate Martell. He was like one of the best quarterbacks in the nation during his class.
Yeah, he was a top 5 quarterback, and he was a 5-star.
He was on everyone's radar.
Right.
But what I was going to say about Martell was that my gut's saying he didn't expect this much competition at the quarterback battle. I don't think he expected for Perry and Gerald Willis.
I don't think he did.
I don't think so, yeah. And I thought he in his mind, he thought he was just going to ride in with his buddies that he went to high school with, Bishop Gorman, and he was going to start from day one. He didn't expect Perry or Gerald Williams to be that good.
He did it.
And whose fault is that? Not to cut you off, Paul, but that's Mark Richt's fault that Mark Richt put them in that position to look so bad.
He looked at QB stats and said, look at that brand. They need a QB. I'm a QB. I like that brand. My buddy Bubba's there. My buddy Brevin's there. Well, Bubba's coming there. Let's ball out. I'm with you. But what's funny is, who's recruiting you, buddy? Dan Enos, the mastermind of QB coaches. You really think you're his number one guy? Plot twist, he wasn't. So, I think I don't know if he would have been so determined about Miami if he'd have known that's the level of competition he would have had.
And I'm not saying, and I keep seeing in the group chat people saying that when he came in, he expected to win. He expected to win because he didn't think that they were good. Yeah. So, yes, it was going to be a competition, but he didn't think that anybody there was worth anything. Because if you look at the film, you can go to a couple games of N'Kosi Perry doing well, but that was when he just took over and said, forget what Mark Richt said. We're not going to keep running Travis Homer up the middle at 212 pounds right into a Florida State defensive line with 4 draftable players on it. Forget that. We're going spread, and we're going to pass the ball down the field. So, you feel me?
It was sweet. Yeah.
He really thought, he thought it was too sweet, like NWO. He thought it was over. And it really is. It's not.
Which
And
is
now
a
he
dumb
came
move.
in.
It's not a dumb move. If you're at a place that doesn't want you, you have this athleticism ability, and you look at this great brand and this potential to boost up your career, get your draft stock ready, and your friends and everything there. And he said he wanted to be at Miami. He liked that swag. He liked that character. He put him in the top 7. Nobody reached out to him. But he got something he wasn't expecting. So, but I will tell you, and people throw this, and like if you watch QB1, he's got an attitude. He's a little bit of a douchey guy or whatever, whether you like it or not.
I got you, Zoe.
But I'm very impressed with the way he's been conducting himself so far through spring. He's been a team player, and he has been just very. All of the QBs.
And then let's also say this. Let's really think about this right here. If Tate Martell would have came in under Al Golden, this would have been given to him. And that's why we know that Coach Dan Enos and Coach Mark Rick, Coach Manny Diaz are creating pure competition. Nothing is given to these young men. Look at Nestor Silvera, a top 3 defensive tackle in the country, and he's fighting for starting reps. If he comes to the University of Miami from 2012 through like 2015, they're throwing him out there and saying, you're the starter. Pat Bethel is starting over him right now. Why? Because it's competition. John Ford is 6'6", 285 pounds. If he's here any other time, they throw him out there and say, you're big enough, you're strong enough, you should be the starter. No, he has to compete. And that's something that we have not had at the U. And that's why we are on the verge of becoming a good to great program again, because we are not giving things to people anymore. Bring your ass in here and earn while you get the logos on your freaking helmet. Earn it, man. And Tate Martell was not expecting to come in here and earn a job. He was expecting to, I'm the starter. No, you're not, boss. You're going to have to come in here, get in a huddle, man a huddle, read a defense, get under center, and get your little 5'8" behind out here and complete passes. And guess what? He hasn't been able to do it. But the young man decided he was going to stay here and keep competing to the point where he had a pretty good spring game because he decided to put his head down and fight forward as opposed to just running away again and going to FAU and putting up numbers. Because there was rumors of him transferring out again if people didn't know about that.
Wait, who?
Tate Martell. There was talks of him being so down that he even wanted to try to leave again.
So FAU to Lane Kiffin?
I mean, it's not. There wasn't a particular place, but I just put that in there because he can go there and just dominate. Is what I'm saying.
There's no way NCAA would have made him sit out at that point, though.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, Carlos, please stop bringing up Rutgers. Nobody in the ACC caliber defenses. Rutgers does not equate to anything in the ACC. Please stop bringing up that game.
Rutgers is worse than FIU.
Yeah. Hey,
Rutgers is worse than Bethune-Cookman.
You've only seen Tate Martell complete passes by Wong too, is right.
It's a shootout.
Tate's got to improve. All right, Tate's got to improve. Well, we'll leave it there. But I think Enos is putting him in the situations he's not comfortable in. So I'm not going to deny that. And Wholesome has mentioned before, is you watch the tape of who he threw those amazing passes and who was on defense. It looked a little better because of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but you need that. You needed that energy going into the summer. So I'm excited. Paul, go ahead. Your thoughts.
Well, all right. So, in my opinion, Perry's looked the best and most consistent throughout the whole spring. But I know for a fact, coaches say, oh, we're starting off with a clean slate. I think that's all BS, to be honest. I think Manny Diaz is worried.
Me and Holson made the same face.
I honestly think it's BS. Like, Coach Diaz knows what happened last season. He was a part of it. I think there's trust issues. If he's named starting quarterback, imagine if he beats Florida and goes on a run, gets all this attention. We were 7-6 last season, and we had these issues at quarterback with Perry, off the field issues. Imagine if he's slinging it and he's doing great. Do you guys really think that the coaches are like really, is there hard trust issues with Perry to give him the nod?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I know for and I keep saying that no for a fact, but in my unhumble opinion, I believe that uh, Manny Diaz was able to watch practice for the last 2 years. He was able to compete against N'Kosi Perry because the twos go against the ones in practice. So he was able to see, hey, if you put this kid in the right position, he can ball. And I think that he saw how hard he worked to get better. And I know he saw that Mark Richt put him in such a bad position that I think deep down he knows that Kosi is the better quarterback out of all three. But in order to make him championship worthy, he needs to have competition to go against him. So sometimes, boss, you need to go against the twos. I need to see you out there with the second team offensive line. I need you to see you out there going against the first and second team defense. Let's see how you handle, different type of defenses coming at you.
Excellent.
But what if he has the same off the field issues after he beats Florida?
But here's what I'll say to you, Paul, also on that. Dan Enos is a new guy, and he does not know of him before on whatever happened in his past, and he's got a fresh slate. And Diaz is how he's talked about it. He said, whatever Enos says, I'm going to be good with it. I'm going to be good with it. He knows of the potential, whatever. So I don't think I understand, like, we're human. It's not like you could just completely block that out, freaking Men in Black, done. Diaz doesn't let that happen. But Diaz was over the defensive side of the ball, okay? So that wasn't his as big responsibility, and Enos is overseeing this, and Diaz is just like, okay, Enos, you got me. That's cool. Whether he's got that in the back of his thought or not. So that's my thought on that. I get what you're saying. I don't disagree that, like, it's not possible to completely forget we're human, but I feel like in the position now, had Diaz been the offensive coordinator, now he's head coach. Yeah, that a little bit more validity to that point. I'm with you there, but. I think Perry's realized. I think he's learned. I think, well, guys, these guys are kids.
Hope so.
They're new school Canes. Look, I've made mistakes in my life. I've done very stupid things I'm very embarrassed about. We all have.
I am not surprised about that. I can see you doing
Thank you, Wholesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. My first one is putting you on this line. No, but you grow from your mistakes. And this is something you got to think about. Are we not glad he made these mistakes in a 7-6 season versus this potential season and learn them then? That's gonna help him out. As well as Williams. Williams wasn't as broadcasted. He had some stuff too going on.
All right.
Now, my issue with the off the field antics is that's behind him. So I think personally we shouldn't keep bringing that up. And that's no disrespect to you, Paul. I get why you're bringing that up because you don't want to get hyped up about a guy and then he does something stupid again and then now he's kicked off the team and Mr. Winston is his right. Yeah, I get that whole argument. We have literally seen a man shut down his social media for an entire spring. We have seen like these coaches take. All right, man, you have to be responsible for what you say and what you do on and off the football field.
Who got the most trophy, by the way?
True. I have seen Kosi Perry truly change his outlook on a lot of those things. So, you feel me? You have every right to bring up, off the field, Paul. Like I said, no disrespect. I'm not saying that, hey, shut up. That's not what I'm saying. But I think that side of him maturing, that's behind him. And we have seen it even with his slight accuracy with an improvement on the football field. And him being able to man huddle and people looking at him as a leader. So, hey, I personally think that the off the field things are behind him. But I also think that the timing of the off the field stuff coming out, and then, okay, he was on video flexing money. That's not that serious.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to be kicked off YouTube, we can't talk about the content of the video. But then at the same time, he sent that out to his homies. So how did that get to the coaches is another thing. How did that become, known worldwide or nationwide?
And the other thing is, maybe y'all disagree with me, but we know Richt and we know Diaz. I'm not saying Diaz wouldn't discipline him or do anything about it, but I feel like it didn't sit as well with Richt as it would have how Diaz would have handled it, I think Diaz has a much more player mentality. Get that Richt is more of, Southern church guy, and I think is a little bit out there. The fact that like Rick was trying to set a high standard in the QB room, and his son was not doing crap, and he was just trying to do something. The fact that all of our quarterbacks had been at one point or another, taken into the doghouse just tells you that he had lost control over it, and it needs to be fixed. And he has recognized that, and him setting up these teams with leaders and guys being accountable, and there being clear-cut penalties and what happens, what's expected, I think is very good. The fact that JT, whatever was told to him, what those rules are, I think they're solid. They're very acceptable, and I think it's going to be clean and good. I'm good. Clean and good.
Now, I got a question for you guys.
All right.
Coach Eno said he wants to narrow it down to 2. Who's number 3? Who's the odd man out?
Okay.
Tate Martell, no question.
Here's what I'll
You
say.
say Martell.
I agree.
No question.
I agree with him too. Tate Martell is 3 as of right now. But I think when he said that so the quarterbacks would hear it, and they would go in the summer, and they would work their butts off. What do you? Okay, I can't talk when you go out there. What's it?
No, not you. It's not you.
No, I know.
I just read a comment, and the guy said that Perry is number 3. Oh God.
If he messes up,
I think there is no debate that Perry is not number 3.
Okay,
we all get that. At worst, Perry is 1B.
Yeah.
I don't see how he completely
He's
loses
got the
it.
most game experience. Guys, come on. Like, I don't care. Heck.
Go ahead, Paul.
This big country. Heck, Rozier, with his game experience, would not be down below. He's got game experience. But regardless, we're going to throw it away. That's past. But anyways, yeah, Paul, go for it.
Hear me out. I think Gerald Williams, due to the fact our offensive line at times is just going to just break down off the snap, and it's just going to be what's the word for it? Just a collapse play. And Martell's ability to run is so key. Gerald Williams is going to be a sitting duck at times. It's just going to be an easy sack. Martell can literally run away from traffic like in a flash. The kid flies. And when a play breaks down, you want the ball in Tate Martell's hand because that kid can get you 20 yards easily.
I'm with you there with that argument because Enos, along with saying that he's going to cut it down to a 2 QB race, he said very clearly, we're going to build this offense around the player type we have at quarterback. Meaning, there's a certain one that's going to work really nicely. So I'm with you there, which I don't know if that's kind of saying because my boy Jaron, it's looking a little glum for him, but that's a good argument. I'm with you there. I can see that happening. But I think he said that without a thought in his mind, because he said he had a gut feeling about one guy, then another guy, and whoever it be. He said that to get these guys on the same page, that you're going to have to work your butt off in summer, and week 1 is going to tell us very clearly who's out. Get ready. Start competing. Work. And
I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
Let's because I don't know what's the time frame left on. Are you good, Anton?
We're at 1 hour and 20 minutes of this live stream, so let's do it for 8 more minutes.
Feel like it. Okay.
Let's do 8 more minutes. Heck, if it goes more, I think we could cut it out.
So I think I have one more question that I wanted to put out there. Who is the player, one on offense and one on defense? I put this in the group chat. That each one of us, let's give 2 players, that you are most excited to see what they can bring to the table over this offseason, and that you want to see production out of them in the fall. And with those 2 players, because of their production and them getting better, this offseason will help us the most in the fall, excluding quarterback, because I know everybody's going to go quarterback, so excluding quarterback.
Excluding quarterback? Shoot.
Yeah. 1 offense, 1 defense, and who's offseason, them getting better is going to help us the most.
Anton, you want to go first? Because I got to think a little bit.
All right. I'm going to go offensive line because he said help us the most.
So you got to pick a player, line, though.
And that old line got to put some work in this offseason, this summer, the most.
So who would be the player on the offensive line?
That's what I'm thinking. Who to circle in on? That's really got to work. I'm very curious about this thing that we switched up the guy at center and on injury. Gosh, his name is what's his name?
Gainer.
Yeah, there's talks of throwing him at tackle now because there is talk of that because we're doing very solid on center, which it's interesting to me. It's got to be at right tackle or gosh, who's the guy that put more work in? You know, I hear stuff about Reed. I feel like he's got to put it together. He's got to put some work in that's going to help to answer that question, help our offense the most. I feel like Reed, offensive line, got to put that work in. But the whole unit as a group. The offensive line is not one man or two men. It's the whole group together in their chemistry. And they're gonna. I think they're gonna put in a lot of work. Butchberry is expecting that. It's been a big emphasis. So that's the guys that I say that. No, it's not. Doesn't sound great, but it's gonna be the most help. It's gonna be the most help.
I would say, offensively. I won't pick on Gaynor, but either John Campbell or Cleveland Reed. We need people to step up offensive line. It's bad there. It's not good at all. And we need development. I don't care. Someone needs to develop because right now we can only count on 3 guys, Gaynor, Donaldson, and Scaife. And that's not good. That means there's 2 wide open positions. I would love to see Hillary and Zion Nelson also step up. And then just someone out of that offensive line. And defensively, I want to see Patrick Joyner. I want to see Patrick Joyner really trim that fat and get ready for linebacker because we're going to need him. You know, not going to sugarcoat it. We're going to need him.
That's a really good one. On the defensive side, so I didn't touch on that, and then I'll give it to you, Wholesome. I guess it's got to be a cornerback. You know, that question of who's number 2 cornerback. It's got to put the work in, and I'm not saying that they're not putting work in, but it's going to be between Blades or Ivy, and I'm really excited for both. It's tough because I was Blades, and then I heard all this about Ivy, and I saw what he brought, and I'm like, but Blades got that, that legacy, that chip on his shoulder, but one of those 2 guys got to really solidify that spot, and it's going to be the work they put in right now to step into that role on the defensive side of the ball. So that's the one for me. Wholesome, the floor is yours.
Offensively, if I had to pick one player that I would want them, if they could go, let's say theoretically, go from backup to, or a starter to an all-ACC level, and I think it would change the production of us in the fall, I'm going to have to go with DJ Scaife offensively. And the reason why I say that is because he has the size to be a swing tackle or a guard, but he has production against ACC players this year. And at 18 years old, he was the starting right tackle for the University of Miami. And of course, they had that Zach Allen play against Boston College, and people were saying, "Oh, he sucks because he gave up a couple sacks." He's 18 years old going against a 24-year-old redshirt senior. Calm down. And I think that would help solidify a tackle side where he could play left or right tackle. And to me, if you have a great tackle, playing interior is a little easier. Then we can just switch around Gaynor, Donaldson, and Campbell on the inside to really help solidify the interior. And then if we can solidify either a right or left tackle in DJ Scaife, it will help us a lot in the fall. Defensively, I'm going to have to say the person who I want to see take that next step, and this might be a little controversial, but I'm going to go with John Ford, man.
Yeah,
because
we haven't talked about him enough. I'm with you.
Right. And he's been hurt on and off he's been issues with being hurt. You have the size that this man brings to the table and the production ability of guys like RJ McIntosh and Gerald Willis. That'll take us to a whole nother level because interior pass rush is one of the hardest things for a quarterback to deal with, whether it be in the NFL or in college. If you can get pressure up the middle, look at a guy like Christian Wilkins, who went 13th overall to the Dolphins. He's an interior guy who can get after the quarterback. And that changed the game because now you have to run to the edges if you're getting pressure up the middle. And playing against the University of Miami, we don't have issues running side to side. We had issues with people running straight at us. So if we can get run stop and pass rush out of John Ford, It'll take this to the next level, and it'll only make players like Nestor Silvera, Pat Bethel,
It will.
uh, and the UCLA guy,
Chigozie
defensive
in the booth.
tackle. Right. It'll help them. It'll pull the double team away from them. It'll pull a double team away from Hill and and um, and
stamina,
John Garvin off the
stamina.
edge.
Freaking, if you can have as much confidence in the number one guy as your number two guy, and keep switching them out and keep that stamina up, oh my gosh. Because, and our coaches said, our line is only as good as our number two team. And so I'm with you there. That excellent choice. Michael Lindstorm definitely picked the best candidate. I agree with him without question. Robert Knowles needs to put in the best word. Oh my gosh, I'm dead.
Now, Paul, you talk about a guy who did not deserve a Miami offer. That's a guy that I don't understand how he still has a full ride scholarship.
What?
You know what? I'm suing him when he graduates. You owe us $200,000 because you suck. Period.
Why do coaches keep praising him?
Well,
Because he's an off-season warrior. He's a weight room warrior. Because he's not good at actually being a football player on the football field. So he's good at all the other stuff. He's good at mat drills. He's good at power cleans. He's good at conditioning, which is why he was the starter.
There's got to be like a blitz package where you're like, dude, your role is just to fucking run at the quarter, at Felipe Franks. There's got to be one play where you can just be like, yo, you're stronger than this guy. You're quicker. Just run through him and tackle the
They haven't thrown him. Did they throw him at striker officially? He's not at
That's
striker.
what you're gonna do. There's got to. Literally, there's got to be a role for him. Just like a play or two. You just put him in.
Special teams second backup. That's his role.
I swear to God, if this man is on the football field, I will get on a plane.
That's what I didn't get. I
Get
saw
on
him
a plane.
field way more
Fargo,
than-
North Dakota. I will be there late, and I will fly into the University of Miami, and I'm crashing straight into his dorm room. Oh my God. Oh, how is he still on our roster? I don't get that.
Coaches love him.
Oh, gosh.
Let me calm down.
So
I don't
says
want anybody
Mallory and
to.
Michael Irvin on offense. Yeah. I mean, they got to prove it. They got to solidify and put in work. But
All this Will Mallory hype because he had a good spring. Jesus Christ.
It was a real good spring.
why?
And I feel bad because I feel like I'm hating on the man, and I'm really not. But it might sound like it. But, yo, we go from forgetting he's on the roster to people out here saying he's the next Gronkowski. Like, yo,
my
chill
gosh.
out. Oh, my God.
Miami.
It's the package set, man. It's the package set. I think that people really hyping on the fact that he's gonna be in there with Brevin.
And then, what would everybody say if he wasn't able to be on the field because Brevin Jordan was actually healthy and Will Mallory was just going against the twos putting up numbers? Then we wouldn't hear about him. But, Brevin Jordan gets hurt, and now everybody forgets about an all-ACC, all-American tight end and talking about upside. Oh, my God. If upside was a thing, then R.J. McIntosh would have went first round. If upside was the thing that everybody got drafted off of, or everybody got selected in the first round off of. Jesus Christ. Zach McLeod would be the number one linebacker in the country if we're going off of upside.
You're right.
6'4", 240. If we're going off of upside.
No, you're right. We love his McLeod. Good old.
I can't stand that.
He says on defense, Carter and Ivy. I'm with you on Ivy for sure, definitely. And I'm not against Carter at all in any way. Like, put a work in for sure. But
now, if we're gonna say like two people I wanna see take that next step, it's gonna have to be Gervin Hall and Amari Carter. Because, every offseason, we talk about these two guys because they were so highly recruited. Oh, and you have to throw Derek Smith in that section, too, because he was the best safety in the state of Florida. But, they haven't been able to make any noise.
Smith at linebacker because of the thinness there, though.
I think the reason why they haven't been able to make any noise is because they had two juniors and seniors in front of him. So that's the reason why, as far as Jaquan Johnson and Sheldrick Redwine. So these guys have no more questions anymore as to no reasons and excuses as to why they're not making plays anymore. And then you turn around and bring in Bubba Bolden. Excuse me. Hopefully we're able to hold on to those guys and nobody transfers out.
Right, yeah, definitely. And here's the thing, like, yeah, I know people keep throwing it in the chat and just in general community, it's like, oh my gosh, Miami secondary, we lost Jaquan, we lost Red Run. Guys, this isn't the first time we're going through transition. It's college football, okay?
Yes,
and
sir.
let's not forget, okay, we have excellent coaches, amazing coaches, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we're the number one defense when it came to passing, okay? We had some stats put up on passing. Now, were there plays that Paul will love to show us about Bandy blowing up?
My God.
It's a bend, don't break, okay? Bend, don't break, and I'm not worried about our secondary. I am not, because I have full confidence in our coaches, and I love the players. I'm excited, and gosh, if there's a player that I'm most excited as a fan that's bringing in and, like, see it, is Bolden. It's Bubba. God, I'm so.
I really hope he lives up to the hype.
I feel like he's the guy that's gonna be like you're talking about that highlight film, that game changer. Talk about a game changer. Now it could be that, which it's not so, but my gosh, I feel like he's got that guy. He's got that thing that's gonna happen, and that NFL draft, man.
I hope so.
Oh wow! Thank you, Lonzo. Donating $5 to the chat. You know, we appreciate it, dog.
Appreciate it. Thank
you. Thank you again.
Definitely appreciate it.
We appreciate that. Sorry to cut whoever off that was talking.
Yeah, you cut Anton
off.
We're
all just basically slobbering our mouths about Bubba Bolden. We didn't cut anyone off. It was getting kind of worrisome for me. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time we've been a little worried about you.
Oh man. What's up, doggy?
So I know you said you want to sign off soon.
It's all good. If y'all got new topics, we can keep rolling. But you know,
I'm good. I got a whole nother hour left. I mean, I don't know if we want to do a 2.5 hour live stream, but as long as there's people in the chat, I guess we're good.
We'll talk recruiting because we haven't talked recruiting, and I know Paul wants to lose his mind about.
Oh my God!
So I'm gonna leave it to you, Paul. Tell us about recruiting and your new.
I'm leaving. I can't do it. I'm gone. I can't do this.
So,
oh my God.
So
our latest
Satoshi 2. Wait, what was that?
No. Look. Let me. Art Stakowski, the reason why Mark Richt offered Art Stakowski was because he shows flashes of a future NFL quarterback. He's not consistent at all. He's very inconsistent, but he does show flashes, and you can work with him at quarterback. Okay? Now, Tyler Van Dyke, he's 4-star kid out of Connecticut. He's very polished. He has a very clean throwing motion, has an amazing arm. He has a lot of upside. You can really coach this kid. He was offered by Mark Richt, and he was re-offered by Coach Enos. Worst situation with Tyler Van Dyke is this kid ends up being a backup quarterback at Miami. Okay? It doesn't work out. But you get this kid a redshirted, you get him. If he wants to learn the game of football from Coach Enos, he will develop, and he will be an NFL quarterback, guys. Get excited about Tyler Van Dyke.
All right, man. I'll give you a Samuel with a $2 donation. Dude, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate it greatly. Tyler Van Dyke. Well, the next Michael Rappaport. Wait, what? And that resemblance, though, scares me. They didn't put up the best pic of him. He looks like he's 40 in that pic they threw up. Oh, my gosh. But, look, the other thing that I was surprised gladly, I was like, oh, my gosh. Think about the guys, because there's also the 2021 guy that we're pursuing hard, too. Was it Garcia, right? Is that his name? Or am I wrong in that one?
Yes. Garcia, he's out of California, Southern California.
Very interesting in Miami. And what I'm thinking, I'm like, gosh, right now we're talking about a 3-man race at the quarterback position. Not to mention the pickup of Peyton Matocha, which is a great project for Enos coming into the future, if we're talking future. Top of that, he's bringing in Tyler Van Dyke, a 4-star QB, right. And Garcia is still interested about the quarterback position. Now, I know people are going to graduate and transfer, but, like, dude, that's a lot of quarterbacks on one team to talk about. And we have the walk-on also from Arkansas. So, I love it. I love seeing the competition being brought in. However, if it wasn't clear to the guys in the chat yet, he's not the guy that I wanted Miami to go after. Tyler Van Dyke from Connecticut is not my man. But I wish him all the best. You on the side of his helmet. Let's go. I'm excited about you, brother. But I'm really worried. I'm really worried about him. But Enos liked him. It's Enos' pick. Enos knows what he needs to look for in quarterbacks, and he knows how to fine tune that. So we'll see how that goes. But I'll tell you, with us having this roster of QBs and him adding on, we're not gonna pick up another quarterback in recruiting. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I don't think that's really something we're gonna look for. At least not a big name.
Unless we get like someone in the transfer portal comes in, but I think you need to develop your own. You need to have a guy from day one come in instead of like a transfer, just to grow into the system. Yeah, I think that's it for this class. I think Van Dykes are going to be our only quarterback offer.
Any other notes you want to talk about recruiting, and then I'm going to let Wholesome lose his mind?
Yeah, we need to get a bunch of linebacker commits because McCluster just chose Florida State, and I wouldn't be surprised if he decommits from Florida State because how bad of a year they're going to have this season. So
wow, are you going to still want him? Because we've talked about before where guys that kind of float around and play around, but this wouldn't. He's not playing with Miami.
We need linebackers.
I got you.
We need linebackers like ASAP. So we need everyone.
Okay. Let me see. Let me think of any big notes that I wanted to mention about recruiting. Other than Tyler Van Dyke. Yeah, there was that decommitment which you already hit on. Wholesome, you want to put your thoughts on TVD or anything recruiting?
Honestly, I've gotten to the point where, I've been so hurt by these decommits, man. It's hard for me to even invest time into these guys anymore. I remember when I was super hyped about the guy Dunn who left us for Syracuse.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just tired of people using the University of Miami, the program that we all love, as just like a side chick. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to the point where it's like, until they put pen to paper, I'm not even going to invest time into these guys anymore. And I know it sounds like I'm deep down depressed and somebody call the cops to check on me. No, it's not that. It's just like, all the way from when I graduated in 2014, I really sat here and did because I'm going to upload a video later this offseason, kind of talking about all the decommits. All the kids that decommitted from us, we could have had a Clemson type season by now if you go just from 2014 through 2018.
Hey,
a 4 years.
Your cam's off. I don't mean to cut you off, but your cam is off. FYI.
Okay. These guys. First of all, until they put that U on the side of their helmet, I follow recruiting, of course, but I know for a fact we get one loss and it's going to equate to a whole bunch of decommits. I've seen it happen too many years. And then the 1 year we get 10 wins, we get all these commits, we get all these people bringing in. And what we need to start incorporating is if you commit to the U and you decommit from us, we are pulling your goddamn scholarship. And I don't want to ever hear from you again. Don't call us. Don't talk to us because I'm tired of it. You use us so that you become a national name, and then you go sign with Florida. Now, of course, losing recruits to Bama, I understand they're on top right now. Losing recruits to Clemson, I understand they're on top right now.
I understand local, like, I'm not saying Miami specific, but I understand where a guy goes to Oregon instead of Miami because that's his area, I get that.
Right, that's different. But the in-state recruit level that we were losing, it's sick. And it's our fault for allowing these kids to think that they can continuously do that. And I think under Manny Diaz, he's going to pull all that. He's not allowing these kids to just use us like that. Because it's sickening. It's really sad to watch. And like I said, I hate to sound like a sad little recruiting junkie, but I was really on board with what's the def? I always forget his name because I tried to push him out of my mind. The guy who signed with Florida, that we were going after the edge rusher.
Starts with a B.
Oh.
Hold on. We're going to get it. Good gosh.
Is he gone?
Yeah. What's the B? What's his name?
Not Bolden.
No. What was it?
From who?
The guy who left us to sign, he signed with Florida on National Signing Day. He picked Alabama at an Under Armour All American and then signed with Bama. Signed with Florida. From this past recruiting class, 2019.
Starts with a B?
Yes.
Oh, a Bogle.
Yeah, there we go. Bogle.
Yeah. Bogle. Gosh.
Oh.
That was horrible. That made us look really bad. We couldn't get that guy's name. It hurts, dog. It really does because you invest time. You follow these guys on Twitter. You DM them like, I can't wait for you to be a Miami Hurricane.
Heck yeah. I want to.
We're so hyped on that.
In the
We're
chat,
so hyped about you
if
coming.
If y'all don't do that, that makes a difference. Blow up these social feeds. Throw up comments. Let them know Kane Nation wants them there. Slide into the DMs. You'd be surprised because I know we three all do it. I mean, I slide in DMs. They'll respond to you sometimes. Heck yeah.
Okay, I'm not sliding in no kids' DMs. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm not doing that.
I'll tell you though. Like, show them some Kane love. I think it has an impact. Is what I'll tell y'all for sure.
Absolutely.
But it definitely hurts. It hurts when you invest like that. You try, you pull it in, but I'll tell you, man. I mean, if I'm a kid, like 17, 18 years old, I'm choosing a school. And my social media is blowing up with fans of a certain program, it's going to be tough to say no to them.
But see, that's the thing. These kids have watched how our fans have done that in the past. And we get all excited. We get all hyped. We bring them all the way in. And then, kids have even talked about how our fan base is the absolute worst on social media. We have been, according to ESPN, I forgot what article I was reading, but we have been voted based on unanimous recruits as the worst recruiting base to deal with on social media. Because you have got, and I'm not going to talk, bring up names, but there's certain people who have YouTube channels who go and slide in kids' DMs and then say, oh, you MFers suck. I hope your mom dies.
Oh, my God.
Because they don't pick Miami. They want to go somewhere else.
Right.
A lot of these kids growing up in Dade County, Broward County, if you're not winning, they have no loyalty to your ass. They really don't. So they don't care. All of that playing in state and playing for your home team, that doesn't mean anything to these kids anymore. They want to go where the winning is. Mm-hmm. So until we start getting back to that mindset as cutthroat W's, you feel me? You look at the roster rankings over the last 10 years of anybody in the Coastal, there's no reason why Miami shouldn't have at least been in the ACC championship 8 out of 10 years and at least got one W. Mm-hmm. And we have it. And these kids look at that.
I will tell y'all, if Miami wins 10 games at least this season, does Flo commit? Justin Flo?
No. Absolutely not.
Ooh. Wow. Y'all think he's too much of a lean because of the California area, or what's the deal? Why not?
No, if you want to pull a guy like that, we have to be, close game with Clemson. We have to be W versus Ohio State or Michigan in an Orange Bowl. That's how you bring those nationally ranked players in. It's when it's on national TV, not local TV, national TV. Because to be honest with you, we have maybe 2 national games this year on our schedule, and that's Florida and Florida State. And we're likely to win one or both of those. So that's not going to bring any guys in. You know who brought in the high recruits? Was that nationally ranked game against Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you bring in those national guys. Because Gerald Williams, Pope, and Nesta said that was the game that really made them say, hey, I can't wait to be on a national stage like this and put on for my city.
Right.
That's how you get the big time, guys, is when you win those nationally ranked games. And we haven't been doing that.
So we're the new school Kane, so we don't bring back all that old Orange Bowl stuff. We try to keep focused, but 2017 is pretty relevant. I'm gonna talk about where I was, time and place. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. That Notre Dame game, where y'all were at, thoughts, where y'all were feeling about the that was going on. I'll tell y'all. So Notre Dame game was shoot, man, I had a lot of stuff going on. I was going to college and all this stuff, and then I was like, man, Miami, we're going up and up. But I was like hesitant. Like the media was throwing up, and I was like, man, I want us just to prove them wrong. And then we start balling. That first half, we're balling, and I'll tell y'all, I was the only one there in that room. But I said, because of the way the quarterback was playing and the freaking line was just being abysmally destroyed. I was like, and the timing of it, because it was about to be halftime. I said, he's gonna throw a pick six right now. He's gonna throw it to
I called that too.
I called
that too.
I freaking knew it. I was like, he's gonna make
I'm
a
with
bad
you.
decision.
I'm with you.
I know exactly. I was like, I called it. Okay.
I felt it. Yeah. I'm with that.
But I'll tell you, 5% of my mind said, this is Miami. That player better not drop the ball. I don't care who's gonna be there. Don't you freaking drop that ball. Then he picked up. I was like, you take it to the freaking house. When he did, when Benny took that sucker to the house, and that scene was shaking, I felt chills. I lost my voice. I couldn't stand up. I was blacking out around the corner of my eyes. I jumped up screaming so much. I was just shaking because game over. It's not even halftime. We all knew it was shut down play. Miami has not had a shutdown play in decades until that one. Primetime TV. The rest, I'm just speechless after that. Y'all throw in where y'all were at, the feels and your thoughts when that happened, man.
Hey, well, you bringing back memories with that one. That feels like a decade ago. Like, honestly, based off of last year, that feels like it was 10 years ago. But go ahead, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, so I was at the game.
What? Oh, you lucky.
Paul, yeah. How do you do this? He's like this sly little guy. Yeah. Like,
how do you just break? I was at the game, you know.
Like, bruh, that was so cool and chill. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but to be honest, man, like as I was walking to the stadium, you could just feel it in the air, like something special was gonna happen. I told my dad. I remember telling my father, I don't think Notre Dame knows what they're coming into. I really do think, and it's the same feel I have with Florida, you know, but we're not playing at home. But Notre Dame had no idea what they were coming into. I was at the game at Virginia Tech. I saw how loud it was, and it wasn't sold out. Now, bringing a sellout stadium against the team you probably hate the most, you just felt something in the air, something good was going to happen. And when Bandy made that pick six, that whole stadium erupted so loud. You could just see all the Notre Dame fans, like, they were just like, they couldn't look you in the eyes. They were just stunned. It was the greatest feeling in the world. And then, it was all great. But at the same time, guys, you got to finish the season out strong. It was a sour season, though, guys. Let's be real. It was a high, but you got to beat Pittsburgh. And
jeez, what a downer!
It's not a downer. It's not a downer because
he's a realist. You're right.
It's true. Thank you. I keep it real, man. It's great you beat Notre Dame, man, but we're trying to win national titles. Okay, we're not trying to beat Notre Dame. Okay, we're trying to win national titles. So, but that's cool. Y'all can share your experiences too.
I was just like cheesing over here, smiling, like I'm on a whole nother level, and then you're like,
because when you
it just went.
Fans, I remember the second favorite moment around that time, and that was when that camera panned on those Notre Dame fans, and there's this chick that just, oh my gosh, that was my second favorite moment. I thought my second favorite moment would be the players and just the fans and them like swarming them, but no. It was this chick that when the camera panned on them, and then I don't remember what the commentator said, but you could just hear in this voice, he's like, oh man, it's tough to be a Notre Dame fan, right? I said, no kidding. Oh my gosh, I was on another clouded level, but you're right. You got to keep it real, but Paul, we're talking about our top moments as New School Kings. Wisconsin is not one of them, but you're right.
Hey, but you know what, man? I was at Tallahassee when Darrell Langham made that catch, and that was probably, for me, that was just as big of a moment because we beat Florida State.
Are you rich, man? You every game, dog. Hey, can I get some tickets?
Hey, I do my best. I take my financial savings into University of Miami. I'll put it that way. But hey, beating Florida State, man, that's something huge for the program as well. And I feel like it's pretty. I don't know. It's hard to debate the two, but man, being Florida State in Tallahassee was huge, guys. It was huge, just for the program because it's been 7 years. Now let's make it 10 years on our side, kicking their ass. So,
Oh, wow. Where was I? So I used to work at this place called Shields. And I don't know if you guys know about it. It's kind of like a Midwest thing. I might have brought it up before. And
what's Shields?
Shields is kind of like a Dick's Sporting Good or Sports Authority
Okay.
up here in North Dakota.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I was a salesman there. And now I'm a nightclub bouncer, so I get to break necks and get paid for it. But
I was wondering what you did for a living because Paul here giving his, I was like, man, Wholesome is being quiet. What does he do? This sly guy. Nice.
oh yeah, I like to break necks. Being a lineman, I like to fight, and it brings smiles to my face to fight people. But back to what I was saying about football. So all the people that were working there. Now, see, we would sell. Of course, it's a sporting good place, so we would sell apparel, and they had like four Miami shirts that were Nike. So they had been there for a long time, and I would say like, "Hey man, what's going on? Why we ain't got no Canes gear?" And the person who was over my department would always say, "Man, you guys, you do good for a couple years, but here comes Virginia Tech, here comes UNC, and then you guys go back to being irrelevant." And I couldn't even be mad at him because that was actual facts. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't get mad at that. So I was like, "Don't worry, don't you worry. This year, we're not losing a coastal game. We're gonna handle business." So we sat there, we went over the schedule. And he's like, "Man, you guys will have fun, but you might get past VT. But prime time Notre Dame, they're gonna run right up and down your throats, the best offensive line, and they're gonna embarrass you all." So for the first quarter of that game, I was at work. Now, whether I was watching the game on my phone or not, I will not admit to doing, but I've kept a close eye on the game. So let's just say I was jumping up and down at work, and we get off, and I end up going to watch the rest of the game at home. And in Bergam Apartments here in North Dakota State, Fargo, North Dakota, I literally got a noise complaint because I was screaming to the top of my lungs when Bandy took that in, and I felt it. I said to the person who was watching the game with me, I said, "Oh yeah, pick six, no question, right here." He was like, "Holloway, no way." I said, "Bro, I'm telling you, pick six." That motherfucker caught back. He threw that pass. All you see is Bandy slow back pedaling. Boom, he broke on the ball. I said, "Boys, oh my God." I got up and started screaming. I was so hyped. And I got emotional because for so long as Miami Hurricanes fans, we had been waiting on an opportunity on a national stage to show people that we're worth it, man. Not necessarily that the U is back, because the U being back is winning constant national championships and being a part of that conversation. But dog, that night right there, because every national champions, every national televised game, we would take L's. We would only have one or two a year, and it would be VT on a Thursday night or a Saturday night ABC versus Florida State. And over the last 5 years or so, we would lose both of those games. And now we had college game day on campus for the first time
Which was
in over
amazing,
18
by
years.
the way. Oh my gosh, I watched all of it. The Kings brought it. Woo.
Exactly. And then you got to think, when you have places like that, you get vignettes. And then people are talking about how to properly throw it to you, because you got some people that do it like
Oh my
this.
gosh.
Some people do it like this. No, it's a full 10 fingers together,
Yes, sir.
90-degree angle, you. And we found like we had a vignette about that. You had vignettes of Michael Irvin and Ed Reed talking about how Notre Dame was the place that they hated the most. They could not wait to play them. And then when we finally got a chance to play them again, you always wanted to beat Notre Dame. You want to go down as the Canes that beat Notre Dame because we don't play them every year. And Ed Reed, they never got a chance to play Notre Dame from, I think it was like 98 through 2001. They never got a chance to play Notre Dame. And the last couple of times, we got embarrassed by them. So for us to go on that stage and show the nation that the U was relevant again and is going to be in contention for a title. I mean, after that game, we were even in listed as, according to some people, the number one team in the country.
Yeah.
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 Colin Cowherd was talking about us. ESPN was like, "Yo, you got Feinbaum putting on a chain, John Dilma,
That's my
like,
third favorite moment was when
yeah,
SEC freaking fine ball loving. He would marry it if he could. Put it on the turnover chain because it was Rozier that tweeted him out. He said, "How about now, dog?" And he said, "The U is back," and they turn on that rap of turnover chain. And him say, that was my third favorite moment. I was so happy to see that. I was so happy.
you talk about, and then you got to think the turnover chain had just came. That was the first year, and people
Yeah.
were bashing us. Oh, you put on a chain against Bethune Cookman. Wow, like what is that? That is that how the U is now? You're wearing jewelry against Bethune Cookman, and a turnover chain came out against every single team that year, from Bethune Cookman at the beginning of the year all the way to Wisconsin at the end of the year.
Definitely.
The turnover chain came out.
Y'all, it has been an amazing, amazing live stream. We just hit a 2-hour mark. We have 40 people watching. But I think we caught all the hot topics that we could in a very concise manner. Unless if y'all have anything else y'all want to hit on, I think we got ourselves an amazing wrap right here.
That didn't even feel like 2 hours.
It did
I'm
not.
happy that we
It
were
did
able
not.
to do
It
it.
was a
It
whirlwind.
went by
man.
quick.
It definitely did. I appreciate all of it that stuck around. Everyone that donated to chat, Zoe coming in with his input, and all y'all input. I appreciate it. All of the people in the chat. Definitely do not click out of this video. Click the links down below. Follow my brothers here. They keep it real. They have amazing quality stuff there. All right. Hit that sub button for them. I greatly appreciate it. Okay. And stick around. We do this every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Miami New School Canes. We talk Canes football and just general sports talk. Most Canes in focus. And guys, it's always, a fun, crazy day at college football. But at the end of the day, it's always all about the U.